Today, I want to cover if blood flow restriction training is effective in preventing muscle loss and if it is possible to gain muscle with the bands on and not working out at the same time. So, I have been using KAATSU, also known as blood flow restriction training. I've been doing it for a while now. And for a long time, I believe it was bro science until I did some research. And guys, if you want to know more about blood flow restriction training, watch this video first. But before I go on, I'm really asking you, please hit the like button for me because it helps this channel out. And I want to reach as many people as possible. And also comment down below what you think after the video is done because this is going to be very interesting and I want to know your opinions. And so stick with me until the end of the video. And for those who think, what is blood flow restriction training? Well, BFR bands are used to pinch your limbs, arms and legs, limiting blood flow as a result. The blood does get into the muscle, but it cannot get out properly. This brings some unique benefits because large amount of blood gets into your limbs. BFR training provides an incredible pump. And who doesn't like a pump? Even Arnold said, the pump is better than coming, right? And because the blood flow is limited, there's not going a lot of oxygen to the contracting muscle. And this has some benefits. So this means that more type 2 muscle fibers have to be activated that you normally only use when lifting heavy weights. And due to the limited amount of blood flow, many waste products such as lactate, also known as metabolic stress, the burn, build up. And it is also a mechanism for muscle growth. And because you're training with light weights, muscle damage, also known as muscle soreness, is kept to a minimum, so it's not detrimental to your recovery. If you are so sore that you cannot work out effectively the next day, 2 days later, it's not good. So this really helps. And simply everyone can benefit from using BFR bands. The unique mechanism on which they strain your muscles make it a very safe way of training. Your joints and tendons are spared while you put maximum stress on a muscle. This makes BFR training so safe and can be used with any training. And obviously, BFR bands are really extra interesting when you suffer from an injury because you're forced to train lighter. And with BFR, you can get the most out of your training. Anecdotally, my opinion, I saw that this really worked with maintaining muscle with light weights during quarantine. When the gyms were closed, I actually made like a crazy transformation. And if you want to see that, click over here. But there's an interesting study that came out, which I really thought was interesting. And I like making study reviews. I want to keep you up to date of the science as well. This study was conducted by the Journal of Physiology and they looked at the effect of BFR on muscle loss and gene expression levels during cast immobilization in people. For those who do not know what gene expression is, don't stress, bro, I got you. It is simply the process which the instructions in our DNA are converted into a functional product, such as a protein, muscle. So like the blueprint, when the information is stored in our DNA, it converts into instructions for building muscle. So simply said, gene expression is the blueprint of the muscle that will be built. The workers cannot build without a plan, right? They need something to work with. You cannot just start building. Maybe the roof will fall on top of you and you're dead. So what they looked at was 10 healthy men who were randomly divided into the group without BFR and with BFR. And all men were immobilized with a cast for 14 days. And the results showed using BFR in immobilized limbs without any exercise stimulus reduced muscle loss in the quads and actually promoted slight muscle growth in the knee flexors. Crazy. You don't do shit. So what is really interesting is that the study provided further evidence that factors other than mechanical tension, and that's like the known way a muscle grows, the stimulus you need, there are also other ways a muscle can grow, like metabolic stress, also called the burn. And that's what you really get when you put BFR bands on. You feel a burn that you never felt before. So BFR treatment may prevent reduced quad and thigh flexor muscle loss and can induce muscle growth without doing anything. Great! But my opinion, I think that this can be really helpful in trained people who do not lift. But it will become impossible in people who are experienced in lifting weights without working out, right? Without working out. I do think that this could really help with preventing muscle loss. So try to experiment with BFR, especially when you're cutting. I'm experimenting with it and I do think that this really helps, especially in my fat loss phase, with maintaining my muscle. So this study shows that there's still so much we do not know. And that's what makes this very interesting. I think this was a really interesting study because it shows just how effective blood flow restriction training can be. Guys, experiment with it, I swear. I also sell them on my website, so you can check them out. But it's very cool. Can you imagine just when you're like injured and you're laying on bed, you can't move and you put some BFR on, that your leg gains will stay? It's crazy. But it has a lot more benefits than just that. And that's why you should really watch my other video about blood flow restriction training. But guys, I love all of you, and if you liked the video, like it, helps the channel out, subscribe, and see you next time. Much love.